Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live session with AskPB, our newest series to decode all things about insurance. Now, AskPB एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर आप कोई भी सवाल पूछ सकते हैं इंश्योरेंस से रिलेटेड एंड आवर डोमेन एक्सपर्ट्स विल गेट बैक टू यू. Now, we host this webinar every Friday at 4 p.m. So please keep that in mind and mark your calendars. Now, today we have Neerja with us. She is the business head of health insurance growth at Policybazaar, and she will be talking about family health insurance. Now, we have received a lot of queries in the past related to family floater plans, and we hope this session is useful for all of you. Welcome to the show, Neerja.
Thank you so much, Simran.
So let's get started. Guys, please feel free to ask any questions that you may have. You can leave them in the chat box and we will be taking them up shortly. Now, Nija, we'll start with the basics. Can you explain what exactly is a family health insurance plan?
So, a family health insurance plan is something that covers all the members of the family. That could mean you, your spouse, your parents, your in laws, your children. So, you can cover multiple members of your family under a single policy and under the same sum insured. So, basically, your sum insured is shared across the members of the family, and you have a single policy copy, which also essentially means that it is easier for you to do entire documentation, the claim process. The entire experience becomes very smooth, and the same sum insured can be used by all members of the family. The only difference, I think, is that you can cover everyone under a single policy, and that's, I think, the best part of a family health insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are some other benefits that come along with the family health insurance plan?
So, if you ask me for other benefits, one definitely that since you have a covered common sum insured, so let's say you and your spouse are covered under a single policy. जैसे हम लोग का 10 लाख का सम इंश्योर्ड है. लेट्स से हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ आर देयर. किसी का हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन हो गया एंड देन दे वांट टू यूज 6 लाख ऑफ सम इंश्योर्ड. दे कैन यूज 6 lakhs or 7 lakhs. सो बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि वन ऑफ द फैमिली मेंबर्स नीड्स अ लिटिल मोर कवरेज and one of the family members needs a little less coverage, right? So you can shift those gears very easily. The second thing is, like I was mentioning, policy copy same hai. So as long as you're going through the policy copies or the proposal forms, the entire claim process आपका एक ही relationship manager होगा, तो ज़्यादा hassle भी नहीं होता है. You can very quickly do whatever you want to do. And yeah, I think this is why, and it gives you a financial security for the entire family.
All right. Now, while selecting a family health insurance plan, Neerja, what factors should one consider?
Okay. So these are very similar to the factors that you would do for a regular health insurance. But what differs in a family health insurance is that you should definitely see how many covered members you have. So if you have two covered members, vis-a-vis you have four covered members, you would definitely want to keep a little higher sum insured versus an individual plan. So for an individual, let's say you take a 10 lakh coverage. If you and your spouse were to take, or you and your spouse and kids were to take, you would go for a little higher sum insured so that it covers every member of the family. First thing. The second thing, you should definitely look for a better claim settlement ratio, and this is true for anything in health insurance. Any company, because the moment of truth is the claim. So if the claim settlement ratio of a company is higher, you should go for that company. The third thing you should see is network hospitals. The number of network hospitals that a particular plan covers. So, at the time of hospitalization, or at the time of, say, annual health checkup, you would want to go to your nearest hospital, and you must be sure that the network hospital is so high that you are able to go anywhere and get your treatment done. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing that I would say is look for plans that do not have any co-payment, that have pre-hospitalization and post-hospitalization covered. Look for also, if you want to go for additional benefits, look for plans that have health checkup covered, because you would always want to do this preventive care so that your family health is taken care of, and your health checkup tells you what exactly is happening with your family. So, majorly in a family health insurance, it's always important to see the pre-existing conditions of your family and how many family members are covered to decide on the right sum insured and the right features that you would need to add in your plan.
All right, all right. Now, Neerja, my next question to you is कि family health plan लेते समय हम अप्रोप्रिएट कवरेज कैसे डिटरमिन कर सकते हैं?
ओके। जब आप फैमिली हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लेते हो तो एक तो आप अपने आप को कवर करते हो, आपके साथ आप 4-5 और मेंबर्स को भी कवर करते हो, राइट? सो इट कुड बी योर पेरेंट्स, योर इन-लॉज, योर किड्स और योर स्पाउस। सो इट्स अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ अ मल्टीपल पीपल इन द सेम प्लान। तो कितने लोग हैं, फर्स्ट थिंग आपकी पॉलिसी में कितने लोग कवर्ड हैं, उनकी एज क्या है, द कवर्ड मेंबर्स एज। लेट्स से किसी की एज 45 या 50 इयर्स है एंड उनको कोई प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन है, सो ऐसा हो सकता है कि यू वुड वांट टू टेक अ सेपरेट पॉलिसी फॉर देम। लेट्स से दे हैव अ बीपी और अ डायबिटीज कंडीशन, तो उनका अगर हम आप डे वन कवरेज लेना चाहते हैं, बाकी सब फिट एंड फाइन है, तो उनको आप एक सेपरेट पॉलिसी में लेंगे। एंड जिनकी प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन है, मे बी वुड सेपरेट दैट पॉलिसी आउट एंड उनके अलग से। सो व्हाट इज द फैमिली कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट, कि आपके फैमिली में कितने लोग हैं, उनका प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशंस क्या है, एंड व्हाट आर द फीचर्स दैट यू वांट, कि आप किस सिटी में अपने ट्रीटमेंट कराना चाहते हैं। इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर से दिल्ली, दिल्ली में द मेडिकल बिल्स आर जनरली लिटिल हायर, तो शायद आप दिल्ली में हायर सम इंश्योर्ड लेना चाहेंगे, मे बी विल गो फॉर 20-25 lakhs। वीजा भी किसी रूरल एरिया में जा रहे हैं, आप 10 लाख का कवरेज तो लेके ही चलेंगे। आज के आज के ज़माने में इतना मेडिकल इन्फ्लेशन हो गया है कि यू डेफिनेटली वांट कि 10 लाख का सम इंश्योर्ड रहे, ताकि किसी भी इमरजेंसी में आपके पास यू हैव अ बैकअप।
All right. Now, Neerja, for our viewers who do not understand कि pre-existing diseases का concept कैसे काम करता है health insurance में, please explain that and please also explain कि ये family health plans में कैसे काम करता है.
ठीक है। सो प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिसीज इज बेसिकली व्हाट एग्जिस्टेड बिफोर यू टुक द पॉलिसी। लेट्स से आज के डेट पे मैं एक पॉलिसी ले रही हूँ, इफ आई एम फिट एंड फाइन, तो हम बोलेंगे कि मेरे पास कोई प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन नहीं है, मेरा कोई डिसीज नहीं है। बट अगर मैं लेट्स से पिछले 1 साल से आई एम टेकिंग टैबलेट्स फॉर बीपी, लेट्स से मेरा हाई ब्लड प्रेशर है, तो आई एम टेकिंग सम बीपी के टैबलेट्स। देन व्हाट हैपेंस इज, जब मैंने पॉलिसी में एनरोल किया, इससे पहले मेरे को बीपी था, तो बीपी इज अ प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन फॉर मी, एंड आई हैव टू डिक्लेयर कि मैं 1 साल से मेडिसिन ले रही हूँ, ये मेडिसिन ले रही हूँ, मेरा बीपी जनरली ये रहता है 140/100 रहता है, वट एवर आप डिक्लेयर करके चलते हो। देन इट डज नॉट कम अंडर योर नॉन डिस्क्लोजर क्लॉज। तो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि अगर आपके कुछ भी पास्ट हिस्ट्री रही है, मेडिकल हिस्ट्री, मे बी आप कोविड के वजह से हॉस्पिटलाइज हुए हो कभी, मे बी आपका कोई सर्जरी हुआ हो, नी रिप्लेसमेंट सर्जरी हुआ हो, शायद आपका आई सर्जरी हुआ हो, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप सब कुछ पहले ही डिस्क्लोज करके चलो, बिकॉज काफ़ी सारी पॉलिसीज बोलते हैं कि बीपी या डायबिटीज को हम प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशंस को हम 3 साल बाद कवर करेंगे या 4 साल बाद कवर करेंगे। तो अगर आप पहले से मेंशन करके चलो एंड आप उसके लिए राइडर्स ले लो, तो शायद आप उसका वेटिंग पीरियड भी रिड्यूस कर सकते हो। तो हाउ इज इट डिफरेंट इन अ फैमिली हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान? इन अ फैमिली प्लान क्या होता है कि आप 4 या 5 मेंबर्स होते हो या 3 मेंबर्स होते हो, लाइक आप ले रहे हो प्लान, एक मेंबर का प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन होता है, बाकी दोनों का नहीं होता है। तो लेट्स से द हस्बैंड हैज अ प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन एंड द वाइफ एंड द किड डू नॉट हैव। किसी दिन वाइफ का कोई क्लेम आ गया, अगर हस्बैंड का प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन नहीं मेंशन्ड है, तो भी वो इट विल कम अंडर नॉन डिस्क्लोजर। तो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप हर किसी का प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन ध्यान से मेंशन करके चलो। ऐसा ना बोलो कि 2 लोग फिट एंड फाइन है, एक नहीं फिट एंड फाइन है, तो नहीं मेंशन करते हैं, चलो छुपा देते हैं। दैट कैन नॉट बी डन। दैट इज व्हाट अ प्री एग्जिस्टिंग कंडीशन इज ऑल अबाउट, कि बिफोर एनरोलिंग इनटू अ पॉलिसी व्हाट डिड यू हैव।
Okay. नीरजा, बच्चों को फैमिली हेल्थ प्लान में इंक्लूड करने के लिए कोई लिमिटेशंस या रिस्ट्रिक्शंस भी होती हैं?
मतलब बच्चों को आप इंक्लूड कर सकते हो। सो जनरली फ्रॉम 91st डे द बेबी विल बी कवर्ड, अगर आपका कोई प्लान है। अगर आपका कोई मेटर्निटी प्लान है तो आप और अगर आपने पहले से बोल रखा है कि आई विल हैव अ बेबी, कोई एक्सपेक्टेड डेट है, तो बेबी डे वन से कवर हो जाता है कुछ कुछ प्लान्स में। एंड बेबी को आप कभी मिड टर्म ऐड भी कर सकते हो, तो 91st डे से फिर बेबी कवर होता है। तो this is there, and your kid can be covered in general up to 25 years. Some plans are there जिसमें आप 30 years तक भी kid को cover कर सकते हो।
Okay, okay, Neerja. Now, how can one ensure that their family health insurance plan adequately covers prescription medication?
Oh. Yeah, so prescription medication is very very important. A lot of times I think reading an article recently just may they mentioned that 67% of India's healthcare expenses are towards the medicines that we purchase. So it's very important that we have a coverage for the medical expenses, and that is what is the concept of OPD, right? You can have your pharmacy, you can have your diagnostics, you can have your teleconsultation with your doctors, you can also have your physical consultation with doctors in some plans covered. So if you opt for a plan that has an OPD coverage, I think that gives you the benefit of claiming for a pharmacy. So if you want to cover only your pharmacy charges, opt for an OPD plan which has pharmacy charges. If you want to also cover something that has your diagnostics and your teleconsultations covered, opt for a plan that has all the requirements fulfilled.
Okay, okay, Neetu. Now, what steps can we take to manage the cost of premiums for a family health insurance plan?
Okay. So the cost of premium for a family health insurance plan typically depends on the age of the covered members. So sometimes, let's say you have four members, your mom, dad being 50, 55, and spouse and husband and spouse, or the spouses being 30, 35. Let's say this could be the construct. Rather than having all four of them under a single policy, you might want to take a separate policy for a higher age member and a separate policy for the lower ages. That could be one. The second is you manage your sum insured. If you think that your family needs a lower sum insured and would be okay, they're all fit and fine, so go for a lower sum insured. But typically, given the medical cost today, I would suggest 10 lakh is the minimum you should look for in a sum insured. Then you, what you can also do is take a top up. So along with your sum insured, let's say you take a top up, a 10 lakh of base sum insured plus a top up of 90 lakh will give you a complete coverage of 1 cr, which ensures that you're protected up to 1 cr, but your base sum insured still stays 10 lakhs. And these top ups are are available at a very nominal price over your base sum insured. So I think you can opt for that as well.
Okay. Now, can you please explain the concept of deductibles, co-payments, and co-insurance in a family health insurance plan?
Deductible, co-payment, and co-insurance are a little similar, but what happens in deductible is that this is generally in the case of top-ups. You see deductibles. Let's say you have you have a claim of 5 lakhs and you have opted for a deductible of 50,000. Then what happens is the insurance company says that you need to pay 50,000 first. So your first 50,000 goes, and then the remaining 4.5 lakhs is paid by the insurance company. Now this is deductible. Co-payment में क्या होता है? Co-payment में let's say you have a sum insure, you have a claim of 5 lakhs and you have opted for a 20% sum, 20% co-payment let's say. तो इसमें 4 लाख इंश्योरेंस कंपनी पे करेगी, 1 लाख आप पे करोगे. सो 20% को पेमेंट, 80% विल बी पेड बाय द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी, 20% विल बी पेड बाय यू. नाउ दिस इज को पेमेंट. को इंश्योरेंस में क्या होता है? को इंश्योरेंस इज एसेंशियली अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ को पेमेंट एंड डिडक्टिबल. फर्स्ट आपका डिडक्टिबल कम होता है एंड देन ऑन द रिमेनिंग अमाउंट, so first जो deductible कम होता है is paid by the customer. The customer pays the deductible. On the remaining amount, the co-payment is applicable. So again, then there'll be an 80-20 split, and the customer pays the 20%. The insurance company pays 80% of the total claim minus the deductible.
All right, all right. Now, नीरजा, सपोज किसी के पास एक फैमिली हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान है और उसमें उनको किसी को ऐड या सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है, तो हाउ डज दैट वर्क?
So addition and subtraction, if like we discussed in case of a baby, if you tell the 91st day पे होता है, but generally if you have to add a new member, it happens at the time of renewal. So in majority of the plans, it happens at the time of renewal. So up renewal के time पे you can add in any member of the family.
Neerja, would you recommend any additional riders or add-ons for a family health insurance plan?
So for a family health insurance plan, some of the things that I would recommend would be go for top-ups. So go for a top-up so that it gives you a higher coverage. The second thing I would recommend would be consumables rider. A lot of times our consumables are not covered, like your gloves and any of the gloves, PP kits, ये सब cover नहीं होती हैं. तो go for a consumable rider so that when you go for a claim at the time of claim, you are completely sure कि सारा पैसा insurance company से आएगा and you don't have to pay anything out of your pocket. So that's consumable rider. Then if you have a pre-existing condition in your family, if someone has a PED, go for waiting period reduction. That is also very important, क्योंकि you would want कि day one से आपका pre-existing condition cover हो या as soon as possible cover हो. If not day one, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, you want the PED to be covered. So go for a waiting period. Then there is also something called a hospital cash rider. So you can go for this hospital cash rider also in the case of family health insurance plan.
All right, all right. Now, can you explain the concept of in-network healthcare providers or cashless hospitals for the people who do not understand the concept?
Okay. So at the time of claim, what happens is while you're hospitalized, there can be two types of hospitalization. One, you go into a hospital which is in the network of the insurance provider. Let's say I go to a hospital where which is a network. There, the entire processing will be done by the insurance company. You don't have to pay a single penny out of your pocket, and you just go get your treatment done. Then the documents go to the insurance provider and the bill is passed and the claim is settled, and then you come out. When I say single penny, it would essentially mean if you have consumable rider nahi le rakha hai, so you would have to pay those expenses, but then majorly your bill is settled then and there. You don't have to go through the entire documentation after the after coming out. But in the case of an out of network hospital, you'll have to go for a reimbursement, and you'll have to first pay upfront. आपका पूरा hospital expense you'll pay, and then you'll claim everything under reimbursement to the insurance provider.
Okay, thank you for the information, Neerja. um, लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम माय साइड, उसके बाद हम अपने ऑडियंस के क्वेश्चंस लेंगे. आई वुड वांट टू नो कि अगर एक फैमिली हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान लेना है तो उसका एवरेज कॉस्ट कितना होगा?
Okay. So this depends again on the family construct. Depends on 2 or 3 members you're covering or 4 members. Then the age of the covered members. Then आप कितना sum insured लेना चाहते हो. इन सब पे बहुत सारी चीजें depend करती है. But if I were to roughly quote, say a 30-35 year old, a family of one member being 30, one member 35, roughly it would be around 20-25K. You would be able to get a complete coverage. If you were to go low, you can get plans at around 16-18K also. And if you as you increase your sum insured, it can go up to 40,000 also. But on an average, a 20-25,000 sum insured, 20-25,000 premium is what you would be paying to get a very good plan for a family of 2 members in the age of 30-35.
All right. Thank you for the explanation, Neerja, and thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in और आप लोग अपने questions भेज रहे हैं. हम एक एक करके आपके सबके questions लेने की कोशिश करेंगे. So somebody is asking, are there any additional benefits included in the family health insurance plan, such as maternity coverage or dental?
So dental, as of now, within India, we do not have plans which cover dental, but maternity coverage is there. In some, it's not necessarily for a family health insurance plan. There are some plans that even give for a single woman, but there are some plans which also give for the spouse and a family of two. So yeah, we do have those plans where you can cover maternity benefits.
All right. So the next question is, what is the maximum limit of coverage in the case of prescription medication?
Okay, so this depends from again the kind of plan that you choose, right? It can in some of the cases you would just have teleconsultation. In some of the cases you would have pharmacy also. So your OPD expenses can go up to 50,000. There are some plans which give you 50,000 OPD. Again, basis the plan that you choose, basis the features that you choose. Are you looking for just pharmacy? Are you looking for medical diagnostics and pharmacy? So basis everything, it is decided. uh, to quote, it wouldn't be an exact number कि इतना medical pharmacy मिलेगा, but then your OPD, we have plans that go up to 50,000 on OPD reimbursement.
All right. The next question is, how can I determine if the family health insurance plan I'm considering provides sufficient coverage for my family's specific healthcare needs?
Okay. When from what I understand from this question is, if there is a pre-existing condition, then you would have to see, let's say, let's say someone has a BP. A natural flow would be, a lot of times we see in the insurance industry that BP ke baad you have a heart problem or something, and then it just comes on and on. So you would definitely want to have a little higher sum insured so that your family is covered. आज के ज़माने पे अगर आप किसी भी जगह पे हॉस्पिटलाइज हो जाते हैं, 7-8 लाख का बिल निकल जाता है, तो यू वुड, टू बी ऑन द सेफर साइड, so that that member is also covered and everyone else is also covered, you would go for a sum insured of 20 lakhs. Vis-a-vis, let's say your family is fit and fine, everyone is fit and fine at this point of time, you would be like, ठीक है सब सही है, I just want a financial security for myself. The minimum I would suggest is go for a 10 lakh sum insured. Again, it depends on what your family's conditions are. If someone has, say, someone in the family has a cancer, then probably you can go for some critical illness covers and all, and you can go for additional plans like that, basis the coverage or basis the requirement of your family. There are
Oh,
plans that even cover some of the PEDs, which we call the ABCD PEDs from day one, right? So you can go for those plans also.
okay. The next question is from Anuj. He's asking, I have thalassemia. Do I need to declare it? There is no medication or anything for this.
Yeah, so yes, you need to declare everything. So again, we would send it to the insurance provider, and if the insurance provider accepts the case, then your insurance would be approved. This would be an NSTP case, which we under which you will need an underwriting, and if the insurance provider is okay to give you the plan, they would give it. If not, it would be declined. But yes, it is very important to mention everything that you have. Every pre-existing condition, so that there is no non-disclosure.
Okay. The next question is, I have enough money to pay my own bills. Should I still buy an insurance plan?
Yeah, I think at the time of emergency, what happens is we might have a lot of funds, but what would happen is we wouldn't keep so much fund in liquid cash, or we wouldn't have it at the time of necessity, right? You would have it everywhere, but at the time of necessity, it could also be that, God forbid, but could be that one himself is hospitalized and he doesn't know how to get through the entire process. So it is very important to have a health insurance plan so that it covers all your financial security, and at the moment of truth, you are completely backed up. You have a backup net for yourself, and uh, the relationship manager is always there. You have on ground claim support, that person would be there to help you through and through the documentation process, so you don't have to go through the hassle. And obviously you're saving whatever the money that you would have. So even if you have the enough money to pay, uh, the better way is to go for a health insurance plan, because at a very lower premium you would be taking a very high sum insured, which will cover for your needs at the time of emergency.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Snigdha is asking, if my sister had a surgery 5 years back, will it be considered pre existing? Do we need to declare it?
So it depends on the kind of surgery that you've had, right? You do need to declare it. To answer, do I need to declare it? Yes, you need to declare everything that you've had. Now, let's say I've had a surgery which would be a CABG, right? It's a heart bypass surgery that I've had. It is definitely a pre-existing disease, because I've had a higher heart bypass surgery. Vis-a-vis, let's say I've had a LASIK eye surgery, it might not impact my insurance policy so much. So it is very important to mention every surgery that you've had, and at the end of the day, what can be passed and what cannot be passed would be the insurer's call. So every surgery is different in itself, and as a customer, one would not know what to mention and what not to mention.
Yeah.
So be safe, mention everything that you have, and let the insurer take the call.
Yeah. Dinesh is asking, how do multi policy discounts work?
uh, like, could you just brief it on, when you say multi policy discounts, is it like the person is taking multiple policies for the family?
I think so. I think that's what he means.
Okay, so there are multi-individual policies, and there is a case that we were discussing earlier where you have, a policy for your mother, father, and a policy for you and your spouse, maybe. So here, in the case of mother, father having a separate policy and you and your spouse having a separate policy, both the policies would have their own terms and conditions. The discounts would be different. There are multi individual policies also. When we go for multi individual policies, let's say the base sum insured I'm saying is 5 lakhs. Every member of the family, if there are 4 members, every member would have 5 lakhs. Let's say I have a claim of 6 lakhs. I would not be covered because my sum insured in this multi individual policy was only 5 lakhs. Whereas if I would have taken a combined policy of 20 lakhs, even with a claim of 6 lakhs, I would have been covered. So that's how it differs from a single sum insured covering a whole family versus multi individual policies in a family health insurance.
Okay. So the next question is actually something we've already addressed, but we would still take it up. How often can I make changes to my family health insurance plan?
Yeah, I think this is something that we've discussed. If you are adding a new member, you can add them at the time of renewal. If you want to add additional features, then again at the time of renewal you should think about the policy or any additional feature like the top up that you would want to add and all. Again, if it is a baby edition, like we discussed, from the 91st day you can add, and in some maternity plans it can be covered from day one.
Okay. Neerja, I have one last question.
Mhm.
How do preventive benefits, so wellness discounts and all of those new age features that come with health insurance plans, work with the family health insurance plan?
I think the new age benefits are very similar in a family health insurance plan versus a regular health insurance plan. If you keep yourself fit and fine, you keep walking, there are also plans that give you up to 100% discount on renewal, right? And annual health checkup obviously is there for the entire family. Again, this is a preventive thing that you should keep doing. If you have an annual health checkup, go for the checkup, and prevention always better than cure. So yeah, go for it. And I think these wellness benefits, it essentially means that the entire family should be fit and fine. You should have your lifestyle in place, and then you keep tracking your steps. You keep doing all of those activities to keep yourself fit and fine, and then you are eligible for discounts and renewal.
Okay, we have a lot of questions pouring in, guys. Okay, we'll try to take as many as possible. Manish is asking, my father is 67 years old with
Mhm.
no pre existing diseases, and my
Mhm.
mom is 58 years old, has
Mhm.
hypertension, and has had a gallbladder surgery 3 years back. Which
Mhm.
policy should I go for? Group or
Uh,
individual?
yeah, I would suggest in this particular case, you can definitely go for group, but in this particular case, since I would suggest two different policies for both the individuals. Father, being fit and fine, would not have any waiting period, can go for a, and he would come under the senior category. So he could go for a plan that is more senior centric. Whereas mother, being 58 years old, would and having a pre-existing condition, would have certain waiting periods. So here you can take those riders and reduce her waiting periods.
All right, all right. Manish, we hope your query was solved. Now, the next question is from Sanket. He's asking, can I port my policy with the same benefits I'm having with existing insurance company?
Yes, porting, yes, you can port your policy with the same benefits that you have in the existing, policy. Let's say you had a waiting period of 2 years for your pre-existing disease, and you're porting it after 2 years. Your waiting period, you've already served your waiting period. If under the new policy also the waiting period was 2 years, you've already served your waiting period, and you can carry on the benefits, and all the features of the newer policy will then be applicable to you because now you've ported into the new policy.
All right.
Definitely, one more thing I would like to clarify here. A lot of times, what happens is in port, let's say my earlier sum insured was 10 lakhs. Now I've ported to a plan with 20 lakhs sum insured. People tend to assume that the entire benefits are covered on the entire 20 lakhs also. Like I've served the waiting period for 2 years. Why would I have to serve again a waiting period for another 10 lakhs? But you served the waiting period for 10 lakhs sum insured, but now you're putting into a policy that has 20 lakhs sum insured. So
Yeah.
for the sum insured that's over and above what you've served, which is the additional 10 lakhs, you would still need to serve your newer waiting periods.
Okay. Okay. That was helpful, Neerja. Thank you so much. We have reached the end of today's session. Thank you, Nija, for joining us. And
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much to everyone who tuned in. If you have any further queries, you can go to the description box. There's a link there. You go to Ask PB and leave all your queries there, and we will get back to you shortly. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. It was a nice session. Thanks.